Hey guys, let me introduce you to today's guest. She is the author, podcast host, Bikini Competitor, mindset mentor. She is specialized in helping people make peace with food, body, and goals using psychology, personal development, mindfulness, and her signature PTG process. Here we go, Celeste Rains. How are you today?
Hello. I'm awesome. I'm so happy to be here and so glad that we connected because I have no idea what to even expect. I've been listening to your episode since we first connected and now I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm up for anything.
Yeah, and my podcast is pretty new, so I didn't have a lot of guests going on, and it's just kind of so sweet that you say yes because I love to listen to your podcast. You're one of the people I get inspired to open mine because honestly, like I am not American and my English is not the best, but I listen to your podcast and then I think I just educate myself how to, talk better. And then I was like, anyways, I I don't care what people think about my English. I'm gonna try. And then
Nice.
you just inspired me with all those pro bikini things. So guys, if you listen to hear my podcast, go check the Celeste podcast, which is what the name of it?
Confessions of a Bikini Pro.
Yes, Confession of the Bikini Pro. And then you're not gonna be missing out. Check this out, guys.
Thank you.
So, yes, thank you. So, before we go into the deep questions about fitness and coaching, what I prepare for you here, I want to just kind of ask you more about yourself. I'm pretty sure my listeners and your followers want to know a little more. Can you just start with where are you from and what do you do for a living?
Yes, so I'm in Southern California. This is where I was born and raised as well. And for a living, I run my own business. I'm very blessed to have started my business in 2015. I was 18 years old, started as a fitness coach and a nutrition coach as well. I was studying dietetics and clinical nutrition. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I felt this disconnect from the work that I was doing. I was passionate about it, but not in the way that I'm passionate about what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I transitioned to studying psychology. And that's when I felt more like me because I really wanted to help people, like you said, build more than just a body. And my mission was always to go deeper than the surface. I wanted to know how I could do that better after my own mental transformation from depression, anxiety, disordered eating, negative body image. I really wanted to transform other people's lives and support them in digging deeper. So now I'm a full-time student as well in a master's program for clinical mental health counseling. And I'm running my business helping mostly competitors, but people who want to be competitors or people in the fitness industry as well, or people just trying to get fit who are struggling with their relationship with food and the way that they see themselves, their overall motivation and mindset as well. And that's really me in a very small nutshell.
Yeah, I know it's so much you do, and it's an amazing girl. Thank you for doing this in the first place. But before I get to a little bit deeper what you actually do, I want to ask a little more about how you get to this place. So you said you go through a lot before you decided to switch and became a coach, and now you help people who struggle. So can I ask you what you get through? So how you what like have you ever compete and what was your experience in that?
Yes. So I first stepped on stage in 2015. And this was an interesting time in my life because I had graduated high school early and I had been in high school is when I got into fitness. And fitness really acted as a band aid to issues I was facing internally. I was suicidal. I was depressed, and my depression and suicidality led me to a lot of anxiousness. I was
Oh.
constantly anxious, like, when is this darkness going to come over me? When, am I going to feel like this again later today? I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be positive. I have an amazing life with amazing parents. I get to do things that I love. Why do I feel this way? And I had a poor relationship with my body. I was very I wouldn't say I wasn't confident. I was a confident person, but not confident in how I looked. And
Mhm.
I channeled a lot of my lack of control of my mind to the gym, and I wasn't getting help mentally. So the gym served as a band-aid. I say that because it was surface level, and I unfortunately spiraled into a lot of disordered eating habits. And to paint the picture, that looked like following a very strict plan where I didn't even think I could have salt. Like I demonized so many foods. Yeah, I really just it was terrible. And looking back, I know that now, but at the time I just didn't. And I used food to control my life, and same with exercise. So after any form of movement, or I'm sorry, after any form of eating, a
Mhm.
snack or a full meal, I would force myself to move. So that might be taking a bite of something and doing jumping jacks, or it might be eating a full meal and doing a HIIT workout. And I thought I was doing good because I was getting smaller and leaner, and it was fine. But then on the weekends, I would binge like crazy. I would eat whatever I could, as much of it as I could, until I was sick. And I never struggled with purging, although I understand it. I never struggled with it. I purged more so through exercise, which technically is a form of purging. And then I would be like, okay, well, I'll just work it all off, or I earned this because I did extra today. When in reality, I had just demonized so much food, except for on one day of the week. Then as I progressed in my journey, I realized that this is all mental. And in growing my business, I was blessed to work with a lot of great mentors who helped me in growing my business. And I started getting immersed into personal development and psychology. And eventually, after going through so much personal development work, that really changed the way that I saw myself, the way that I saw life, the way that I perceived possibilities. And I had a therapist too who really changed my life as well. I am so grateful for her. That was finally at 18. I was like, I'm getting a therapist. I deserve one. I need one. My mental health has not been fixed by fitness, which who knew? I totally thought it would be, but it wasn't.
Ah.
And then when I started working with mentors and a mindset mentor, all these things kind of opened my eyes. So that's when I switched my degree,
Mhm.
started pursuing psychology, and transformed my business slowly. I went from fitness coaching to self-love coaching to then I launched my podcast. And I had this epiphany that the whole time, my mission of building more than just a body is for bodybuilders. And it never hit me until I really launched my podcast and knew this is the community I love. This is the community I want to serve. And that was after I had a big run of shows in 2017, 2018. I did 5 shows. A few of them were back to back.
Mhm.
And they were really positive experiences. I love competing. I don't believe you need to give up competing to embrace a healthy relationship with food or your body. I don't believe competing is to blame. I believe that it's our intention and it's the way that we think about what
Mhm.
we're doing. So I love competing. I've had positive experiences, and I'm really grateful for the community because it led me down to the path that I'm leading now, which I feel is truly my purpose in helping competitors. So from my little start of my journey, like jumping jacks and no salt, to like now healthy relationship with food, a thriving business, amazing clients, and a fantastic community. Like I'm so grateful.
That's the big journey. Thank you for sharing this all with
Yes.
us. Wow. And it's incredible. So you earned your pro card, right? When you was competing.
No, I haven't
Oh,
earned it
okay.
yet. I am working at it. So I'm taking like a long off season. I finally stepped on the national stage for the first time, but I
Mhm.
have not earned my pro card. That is a goal of mine, but I need time to build.
So you're thinking to be back on the stage soon or?
Probably not until 2022. I
Mhm.
want to take my sweet time because I want to make sure next time I step on stage, like the time I took created the look that they need from me.
Mhm. So did you get your feedback from the last national show?
Yes, Sandy was like, you have a great shape. I love this color suit on you. Everything was perfect. You just need, she's like, you look young. And I was like, I am young. She's like, yeah, I could tell. She's like,
How old
how
are
old are
you?
you? I'm 24.
Mhm.
She's like, you look young on stage. You need to get a lot more density. You need to build a lot more muscle. She's like, then, and fill out your glutes. She's like, then you come back and you'll be fine.
How fun is that? You're not gonna believe I get almost the same feedback from her.
Really?
Yes, this is so weird. Yes, that's why I asked how old are you? Because like I could even send you a video because actually
Yeah.
a couple days before this podcast, I was looking for my old videos on my iPhone. You know, when it's like remind you
Yes, you get
something.
that memory.
Yeah, this is the craziest thing. I love it. So it was remind me these memories on my first Olympia amateur when I met Sandy, and then I actually asked her feedback first time. And then that was 3 years ago. And then she said me the same thing. She said, you look great. You need just a little bit more fullness into your glutes, a little bit more shoulders. But how old are you? She said,
Right.
and I'm like, I'm younger. I'm actually older than you. I'm 29 and almost 30. I mean, at
Wow.
this time, but 3 years ago, I was a little younger. And I said to her, I'm like 25, I guess, right? Right? 3 years ago.
Around there, yeah.
I wrote it. I am so bad in numbers. And then she said, oh, you're so young, you have time. She said the same thing to you. This is so funny. Oh, wow.
I love her for that. Like, I like that she wants us to take our time to grow. And she's like, you could step on stage in the fall. You could step on stage in the late summer, you could step on stage in the fall. She's like, but you need to grow. And like, I took that as don't rush, don't rush this process. Take your time. And I'm committed to being a natural athlete. So I need the time, I need to earn my way up.
Absolutely. I feel you. I'm the same way. But can I ask you? So I was just curious, like you was telling me about the craziest image of you got of yourself when you was younger, of the craziest things you was doing, and then all this was absolutely mistakable. But how it's happened in the first place? Did you have any bad relationship at home? Maybe you was grown the way like with the bad body image because like you wasn't born like that, right? So what affect you? What happened maybe when we was a child or something?
That's a great question. No one's ever gone deeper. So I appreciate that you're asking such a vulnerable question. And, at the time, I had been through a relationship that had made me feel like okay, let me back up. He cheated on me. And I was like, okay, how could I expect someone to not cheat on me if I'm cheating myself? In other words, like if I'm not being my best as an athlete, I was a volleyball player at the time, and
Oh,
my major dream was to play college volleyball, and that,
oh,
yeah, I committed to play college volleyball, but I pulled out because I burnt out. I wanted to focus on fitness. I wanted to focus on my business. So, anyway, I wouldn't say there was anything necessarily, like I was definitely immersed in diet culture, if you want to call it that, from a young age. Like my first diet, I was really, really young, and I did like all bananas and milk. And it's like my
where it's
dad did.
from? Have you been overweight when you was a kid?
I was, and I was made fun of for it. So I was a lot bigger than everyone else in my grade. I stood out in that way, like maybe I was more developed than the other girls, so I looked different, and I was frequently called things like Bigfoot, or I was called things like, I was called fat, I was called chubby. It wasn't the best thing for me growing up, but I'm grateful for it too, I will say, because I took so much more pride in my humor, and I took more pride in my education. And I thought, if I'm not the thin one who wears the Abercrombie and the limited two that everyone else can fit into, and I just wear soccer shorts and t-shirts, then I'm the athlete, I'm the funny one, and I'm smart. And I think that helped me to gain a lot of confidence in other areas, but it definitely derailed that image of myself as always being that girl. And I think that's what caused me then, like going into 6th grade, I remember running every day because I didn't want to be the slowest one in the mile test in 6th grade that they have. And I grew a lot in that summer, and I got skinny. So coming back, it was weird. I didn't look the same. I hit puberty. And then, growing up, I saw my mom struggle with her body image. I saw my dad talk about his weight or about certain food items, and they raised me to be healthy and to move my body and appreciate that I can, but there were those underpinnings there as well that I think made me feel sometimes that I had to be perfect or smaller in some way.
Wow, that's so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And I am curious, like, what advice you can give to someone out there, who struggle with the same, because I have clients like that, and then I'm pretty sure you do. And then people just maybe doesn't need to be young to feel so shitty about themselves. So what are the first steps you can give to someone to kind of like change the behavior?
Absolutely. So, in regard to body image or the way that we see ourselves, I think one of the first things is to just be really honest.
Mhm.
Where is this coming from? What are the thoughts that I'm actually having about myself on a day-to-day basis? And what's bringing them up? So, let's say someone listening to this is like, oh, I hate the way my body looks. I'm constantly checking my abs. I'm always doing body checks. I can't stop staring at my stomach or my legs. Okay, well, let's take a step back and say, what is it about your stomach? What is it about your legs that you think needs to change or be different or is wrong? And then what would being good enough look like? And sometimes when we ask ourselves that, it's like, it's not that I'm not good enough, it's just that it's not good enough for me. I want it to look different.
Yeah.
Why do we want it to look different? When did that start? Where did that come from? And then usually, unfortunately, we believe in order for it to change, we have to go to extremes. So then my best piece of advice is once you've done the digging, let's not resort to an extreme. Let's ask ourselves, what's the most sustainable commitment I can make to loving and moving my body every day or nourishing my body that will naturally create a change? Because I believe that when we love ourselves, we are naturally inspired to take care of ourselves, and then the results take care of themselves as well.
Wow. Yes. So I like that process you just explained. So they have to find a way to do it nature and slowly without extreme, without those crazy diets, right?
Yes,
And by the
exactly.
way, do you believe in meal plans or macros? This is interesting. Everyone is different in this time. So what do you prefer?
Oh my gosh. So, as you know, I do most of the work that I do is helping people in their relationship with food.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, I have worked with
Oh my God, my earrings
is that
just
your
falling.
earring?
Yeah. I'm like, what's
No
going
way.
on? They're so beautiful. It's a new one. I don't have any place to wear them, only like podcast.
They're so
You
pretty.
know
I
what
love
I mean?
them.
Like the only place I go is a gym. And then I didn't know they're gonna be falling down while we're doing the podcast.
That's it. No, they're beautiful though.
Thank you. Okay, who's gonna watch video, guys? Lose the comment, please, my earrings.
Her
Sorry.
butterfly earrings flew away.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just saying, as a food relationship coach, I work with people who go on macros and go on meal plans.
Mhm.
And let me tell you guys listening, one thing is not going to resolve the other. I hear this all the time. Like girls will be like, oh, if I just go on a meal plan, I'll be better. I'll have more discipline. I just need the willpower. The plan was never the problem. Just like the people who start on a meal plan and go to macros, well, okay, that might help with a little bit of normalizing different types of foods. At least, that sort of helped for me. But at what point does it then become obsessive with numbers and obsessive with tracking and still feeling a bit of scarcity when certain things can't fit or when you feel like you're not fitting in the right thing? So I don't prefer either. I prefer the method that works best for the person and is considerate of their mental state. And for me, I personally take a mixed approach. So I follow a meal plan my coach gives me, and I make sure the macros of the foods that I'm choosing, like if he gives me ground turkey, I will eat the amount of ground turkey that meets the macros for that meal. And then if I'm more than if I'm around 4 weeks out from a show, even 5 weeks out, I don't make macro swaps anymore. So I won't, let's say, work in like a protein bar. I won't work in, I don't know, like something else, just something else that maybe isn't on my plan. I'll just follow the plan, but I prefer that mixed approach for me personally. It's helped me to sustain a lot longer.
But have you ever tried the intuitive eating?
Yes, I tried this after my 2015 show,
Mhm.
and I feel like I was kind of forced into it because I didn't feel like eating anything, and I had no appetite. I didn't want to see another piece of chicken again. Like, I was just in a weird spot. I know most of your listeners probably don't have that experience. Maybe it's more so like tofu or tempeh, but
Mhm.
sometimes you just get sick of a food, and that's where I was at. And I remember thinking like, okay, my body wants something else. And I've never just let my body be. From the young age to throughout middle school and high school, it was always just like trying to control it. I was like, what would happen if I learned to love? So I kind of developed this thing for myself. I was like, my commitment is to listen, honor, and love my body in whatever way that looks like. And however the outcome is, if I got smaller, if I got bigger, if I went up and down, it doesn't matter. I need to learn to trust my body. And so I have tried intuitive eating.
Mhm.
And I believe anyone can eat intuitively, even when following a plan. But I also think our intuition isn't always so trustworthy
Mhm.
when we've been in dieting phases, or we're trying to build muscle. You kind of can't intuitively eat it. It's almost not strategic enough.
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense. But how was your results then? You didn't tell us.
Well, I gained a lot of weight after that show. I
Mhm.
rebounded first, and that's what made me go, I need to intuitively eat, because I was just like, I'm just going to eat whatever and anything. And I binged and binged. And then after that, I was like, I'm going to intuitively eat. And I found a lot of freedom with myself. I found a lot more trust in my body. And for the first time, I wasn't chasing a changing physique. I was more so just figuring out, how does it feel to just move because I want to just
Mhm.
eat let's say a salad because I want to, or eat the burger at the restaurant because I actually want that, or not order off the skinny delicious menu or whatever it is. It's like,
Mhm.
how does it feel to just trust myself? So I'd say the number one result I got from that was trust and knowledge about how my body responds to things. And now I've learned I don't need to eat intuitively, like I said, to intuitively eat.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like it. This is what I'm practice right now. I am so
Oh,
huge in macros and I always do macros, but I feel like after this last year of the competing, I was over counting. I'm just like, you gotta understand me because I also work with people, right? I've worked with the competitors,
mm-hmm.
with the lifestyle clients, and I count all the time. I count for them and
Yep.
I count for myself, and it just was too much. So I actually usually do that. Like I usually do like a 1 week slowly reverse, and
Mm-hmm.
then I give myself about 1 week to not counting anything. I'm just eat not wherever I want. I'm still eating super healthy, clean vegan meals,
Yeah.
but I'm just not counting. But the problem with me, when I went to intuitive eating girl, I anyways count. Because as
Yep.
for me, I'm just looking on the plate and I'm like, I know the
Yes.
numbers already, and it's
Yep.
not bad. I love it. But I was trying to like let it go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still doing that. And at the same time, I know my body very well. And I know sometimes if I feel like I want something sweet, it doesn't mean I really want it. You know what I mean? Like I
Oh,
just feel
yes.
bad or something happened and I want to eat sweet or it's just available. Let's say I was craving the peanut butter and it came to me finally. It was delivered like 2 weeks and I opened up this box, right? So my body wants peanut butter, but it doesn't mean, guys, that they're gonna eat the full box because I feel
Yeah.
like I want it. So it's been really nice, I would say. I've stopped. My weight is not going anywhere right now. It's actually sometimes dropping. So I'm the kind of person who gain slow. Like
Mm-hmm.
my metabolism are really high. So for me, again, it's individually, guys, who is listening to this, please don't do the same thing that I do because I really count, but it's not going, it's not like I'm going to the meal plan or the macro app and I count. It's just in my head. Anyways, I pretty much know that with intuitive eating, I hit my protein goal for sure. And I know about fats, like pretty much I get something around I need. And I go okay with the carbs because as for me right now, when I'm on my growing season, I could eat just as much carbs as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I need to grow. That's it. But it's not working for everyone. A lot of people who come to me as a client, they don't even know what's the macros, right? So start with a plan. It's a good idea. It's a really good one.
I agree.
So
Absolutely.
now I want to talk a little deeper about your book.
Okay.
So like you are 24 and you already have a book. So can you tell me when you actually when you release your book, and then when you and actually get an idea to write the book?
Yes, I believe it was 2016
Mhm.
that I released the book, and it was in November. And I got the idea 2 weeks before I released it, and wrote it. Not even kidding you. Like, I sat down. Actually, I always say this story and I'm like, oh, I don't get in trouble. But I used to work at a YMCA, and this was my first job. And I
Mhm.
was a fitness coach there. And when no one was there or needing to come in, this is in a suburb of a suburb of a suburb. Okay. So I'd sit at my desk and I would just like work on schoolwork or work on whatever. And I had been working with a mentor at the time who planted this seed about writing a book. And I knew I was going to write an ebook, and I knew I was going to write a best-selling book. Like, that was decided. But I was like, well, what am I going to write about? So it just hit me. I was like, okay, I know I want to write a book on building more than just a body, but I also have this idea about just writing a book solely on mindset and personal development. And I wanted to share what I had done in the initial stages of my mindset journey with other people. And I was like, it just doesn't feel right to do the build more than just a body book, which I'm so glad I didn't, because now I'm going to, and it's going to be way better because I've
Oh,
evolved.
you're gonna
But
write the second book soon?
yes, after I get licensed, I really want to write one that incorporates like research and various
Mhm.
conversations and things that I've had in my expertise and in my education and also in my experience. But besides the point, I wrote an ebook for Build More Just a Body, and then I sat down at my desk one day, and suddenly, I'm not even kidding you. You ever have those moments where just this creative energy almost like floods your body? And I was just like typing away like crazy on this work computer. I saved that book on a work computer and I emailed it to myself because I was like, I have to save it. I have to send it to myself. And I finished it in 2 weeks. And I self-published it, but I hired someone to like self-publish it for me and kind of take me through that process.
Mhm.
And I got like the graphic designer to make my cover. I did a quick photo shoot. I just like got it all done, put it on Amazon, and within 24 hours it was a bestseller, and it had beat Steve Harvey, and it was in the top. And Steve Harvey is like a incredible leader and actor. Like, he's well, when I say incredible, I mean he's well known. And I
Mhm.
was so shocked, and then it was on the top 3 hits, and I was just like, what's happening? And that was because I have so many amazing people who support me. But I decided to write it because I just wanted people to know that they can believe their way to badass the way that I did. They can redefine their beliefs, they can develop self-love, and they can truly manifest. When I say manifest in the book, I don't mean it in the woo-woo way people hear it now. I mean truly take action through a process I call Operation Badass in the book, and create the life that they want to live. And that's what I felt I was doing, and I was creating, and I wanted other people to be able to use it.
Wow, that's incredible, girl.
Thank you.
I actually feel so bad because I didn't read it yet.
Oh no, it's
So
okay.
sorry.
No,
Yeah, but
it's
I am actually about to. So I'm so glad we met today in my podcast. So I'm getting more inspired, like to read it in one day. It's actually a big one. It's a big book.
no, you know what's so funny? I always have a copy of it near me. It's in my desk, but it's not a big book. It's small. It's an interactive journal. I call it an interactive journal because I always hated reading. I wouldn't say I hated reading books, but I didn't really like when I would be preached at. I
Mhm.
wanted to be taught, I wanted to be engaged. So I said, you know what, I'm going to make sure this is interactive. So it's a lot of journal prompts.
Mhm.
So it's I explain something and then I give a journal prompt. But it's so funny because now people read my book and I'm like, oh, there's so much I would add to it or change, but it's like a piece of me, it's a piece of my history, and I can appreciate that. So you'll have to let me know what you think about it.
I know what you feel, girl. Even when I look to my like a long videos I post on YouTube or Instagram, how do I do exercise or why this workout is good, I'm like, oh my God, this shoulder
Yep.
side raises, it shouldn't be done like this at this
Yes.
time. You know what I mean? And then I was a
Totally.
trainer already and I was posting this. I was confident, right?
Yep.
It's like so fun. I could imagine like how you feel about the book. So in this case, the question is going to be, if you could change at least one thing in your book right now, what it would be?
I wouldn't talk about my fitness coaching because I
What?
don't sell that anymore. Like, to be honest, like I just wouldn't talk about fitness coaching, and in the past that made sense because I was a fitness coach, but now I'm like, oh, people probably get it and they're like, oh, does she do that? And I'm like, I don't do that anymore. Like I just, but it's also like, I don't know, like I say, I'd more so add to it. Like, it's a really awesome book. You guys, seriously, it's an awesome book. Like, I paid tons of money to learn a lot of this stuff and immerse in a lot of this stuff. And I invested so much time and energy and went through a lot of crap myself. And I wrote it so that other people could take themselves on that journey.
Mhm.
It's a fantastic book. I wouldn't change anything. I maybe would just add stuff to it, like
Yeah.
more of the psychology and counseling work that I know now.
Yeah, so I getting excited to read your second book now, which is I hopefully gonna see soon. But this first one, which is I'm sure is amazing because I already know you a little more, and I'm sure you have so much knowledge and information to give out there. But so as you said, when people can find it on Amazon, right, is the easiest
Mhm.
way. And
Yes.
then is it only available like in iBook, or you can just actually buy a printable
You
version?
can buy printed. Yeah, I would recommend getting the printed because then you can write in it.
Yeah, that was my thing because I already ordered the printed one because I
Oh,
want to write,
awesome.
and I this kind of I didn't know you need to write, but I this kind of like old school people who like go through the pages and highlight something, you know.
Yes. I'm like, if I'm gonna read a book, I want to smell it and hold it and flip through the pages.
Yeah, this is my thing too. Awesome. So now I want to go deeper into your coaching system right now, which is not more about fitness. So what does it mean, the signature PTG process you have right now? Could you explain to me and to our listeners a little more about that?
Yes. So PTG, it stands for peace through growth.
Mhm.
So I called it the PTG process because I believe that in every season and every phase, we're growing and we need to have a way to be at peace with that growth, whether it's in a competition prep, an improvement season, a lifestyle phase, a transition phase, a break, whatever it might be. We need to be able to have peace in that situation with food, our body, and our goals. So the process itself starts with really a discovery phase. So this is where we're peeling back the layers and discovering, what is your relationship with food like? What is your relationship with your body like? How do you view your goals? What are the beliefs you have about yourself? So this is where we're digging. Like, this is very introspection. This is a lot of figuring out what's going on. After the discovery phase happens, we move into a bit of a exploration phase. This is where we're applying new habits, new principles, new beliefs, and really trying to create the ideal that you had previously identified in the discovery phase. And this phase can sometimes be rocky, but I love it. The middle phase is always the best because it's when we're learning what we need. We're learning where our downfalls might be, what our sabotages could be and have been, and we're developing new tools and resources to work through them. Then, after the, of course, the kind of test phase, exploration, we move into an integrative phase. This is where we've really developed your solid, like, this is your approach, this is what works for you, these are the beliefs, the tools, the mindset. It should become almost first nature by now, if not, it's, maybe second nature. So in this last phase, this is where we're growing, this is where we're integrating. And I like to think of it like a garden. So discovery phase, we plowed everything up. Middle phase, we planted new seeds. The last phase, we're tending to the garden so it can grow. And in that process, that's where we're really finding the peace, and we're being aware of not falling into old patterns or moving back into a place where we were having disordered eating, whether that was binging, whether it was restricting food, whether it was emotionally eating, or not being able to trust yourself around food or at social events, or maybe it was not even food related at all. It was more so not thinking you'd be ready for your show or feeling like you were a failure, constantly comparing yourself to other people, not feeling disciplined, not trusting yourself to be able to achieve anything, not feeling good enough. Or maybe it was more body image related and it was like picking yourself apart constantly, feeling like you weren't beautiful or capable or worthy, or wanting to change your body without feeling like that means you don't love your body. So, whatever it was, we want to make sure we don't fall into that pattern. And that's where we're really tending to the garden to make sure that doesn't happen.
Wow, that's all questions you ask. I think it's related to anyone out there. Like we all have those self-doubts about themselves, even we are look beautiful or wherever. Like, so I think your program is good for anyone out there, whether
Thank
it's
you.
a bodybuilder or it's a regular person or it's just a healthy person or it's unhealthy person. Like it's really interesting. So by doing all of this, going through all the things, like how's actually happening? Do you meet with people on online calls or you send them like homework to do? Or I want to kind of like explain people what they actually gonna get if they come to you for help.
Totally. Yes. So I'm definitely not just gonna say, oh, let's get on a call and talk or whatever. Like, no, I've got a process. Like, there's a reason for everything we're going to do together. So, let's say someone signs up to work with me in my food relationship program. They're
Mhm.
going to receive a questionnaire that goes into more body image, self esteem, past experiences. They're then going to receive the full program PDF. This includes body image work. It includes the full discovery phase process. This is where you're really understanding your relationship with food. It's a full journal.
Mhm.
They also get access to a client portal, tons of resources that are going to support them in their journey. There's things that will help them understand their hunger and fullness cues, things that will help them understand their emotional eating patterns. And all of this we're applying together. So my clients are never alone in the process. It's not just like a here's your packet and go, have a nice day. It's hey,
Mhm.
here's your packet. Let's work through it together. They are the expert. I'm just there to support them in that process and guide them to their ideal.
Mhm.
And I believe that requires a lot of introspection. And then we have a coaching call twice in the program. The program itself is 5 weeks. I get massive results in 5 weeks because we're going hard for 5 weeks. Like I'm making people
Wow.
do it's intensive. I like to warn people it's intensive, but that's why it's 5 weeks. Like we gotta be willing to change the behavior patterns and the thought patterns. And that comes with repetition. And the more we can repeat it, the better. So
Mhm.
my program's really rooted in the psychology and the personal development, mindfulness-based eating. So they can expect a lot of one-on-one attention from me, checking in with me literally every day. And really it's not at all going to interrupt a program they're doing with their coach. So
Mhm.
like first someone who you're working with, let's say that they were all of a sudden struggling with this for whatever reason. I would never tell them not to work with you. And I always like other coaches to know I'm not going to step on your toes. You don't step on mine, kind of a deal. And it's fantastic because competitors are used to going to like a therapist and being told, you have to stop competing if you want to have a healthy relationship with food and love your
Yeah.
body. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, excuse me, that gives me so much life and passion. So I really pride myself on changing how mental health professionals are looking at competitors and how competitors are looking at mental health. It doesn't have to be feared. Instead, it can be embraced in the journey, not something that causes you to quit, but something that causes you to actually succeed more and be empowered through every season. So that's like the number one program. And then I have this on-demand platform people can join that takes them through this step-by-step process. Like I'm in prep and I'm struggling with this, or I'm in an improvement season or off season and struggling with this. And
Mhm. Mhm.
it gives PDFs, and that's a less hands-on from me, but they get one-on-one, or I'm sorry, group coaching calls with me every month. My community is very active. So yeah, I take a lot of pride in the work that I'm doing with people. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah, that was a really great answer. Thank you so much. And I'm actually so happy to talk about this with you because I am, as I think a lot of coaches out there looking for person like you. Like we got a lot of to work with the people who have struggled with some self-image or like just a mindset problem and we cannot handle it. Like I always say to my clients, like I am here to listen. I could help you with your macros, with your diet, with your workouts, but I'm not psychologist. I'm sorry. You need help. I always say that. I
Yes.
don't know where, but you need help. So now finally I know where. So guys, I'm gonna leave all the descriptions below, but basically I think you can find all these amazing programs on the Celeste website, right?
Yes,
Your
celestial.fit.
website? Celeste.fit, right. And then I'm gonna also add your Instagram out there in the description below, so they can easily find all the information about you. And I am thinking that you are the person like a changing this fitness industry.
Thank
Like
you.
I am
Thank
really
you.
believing this because like it's crushed my heart. You know, I'm a natural vegan bodybuilder and I'm a natural pro, but when I go to NPC or IBB pro level competitions and I see the real real problems, mind problems with the food relationship, with the self-image out there on the backstage, you can totally see it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I also have my struggles. Like I even want to go and check some of your programs because we all not perfect. And every time, I'm sure you being the coach always, right? Am I right? You work on yourself still every day.
Oh, yes. It's a conscious commitment to that process. Like it never ends. And I love that, you recognize that too. And you're so right. Like we all have to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Now, like I cannot miss this question because honestly, we are on the vegan booty talks. And I have to ask, have you ever things to try be vegan, right? Or just add more plants into your diet? And by the way, the interesting topic I think for you could be, do you think that vegan diet is some way of restrictions?
I love this question so much. I actually wondered if you would ask me this. I was like, in my mind, I thought, I hope she does because I love this. Because I don't want anyone to take it the wrong way because I think that being vegan is great. If that's what works for you, be vegan. If it makes you feel good and it makes you feel good and you enjoy it and you don't feel restricted, awesome. I think the ways it can be restrictive is only in our mind. So if our intention behind being vegan is to restrict, we've already started off on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
It should never be to restrict, at least in the sense of, oh, I need to do this to lose weight and to change my body and to be perfect. And that'll give me the willpower because I won't be able to eat. No, it's going to blow up in your face. And I don't think that's the right intention to have. The thing about being vegan too, that's always struck me as interesting is like anything, it's an identity. People identify with the foods that they choose to eat. I'm vegan, I'm paleo, I'm a bodybuilder, I follow a meal plan, I'm a macro counter, whatever it is. We
Yeah.
identify so strongly with it. And I just urge people, maybe instead of identifying as what you eat, identify with what you eat. Right. And I think you do a really great job of representing that. Actually, I've been through a lot of your posts and listened to your episodes, like I said. And I think it's about understanding your reasoning behind everything. I don't believe it can be restrictive unless it's restricting you in your life, in your mind, in some way. Any diet plan can be restrictive, but I think that starts with the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
And have I tried it? I've not tried to be vegan. I love vegan food. I love vegetables. I eat a bit every single meal because I'm obsessed. And I love vegan based foods, but I've never been like, I'm going vegan, everybody.
No, that's awesome. And then as a being vegan almost all my life, I have people who eat meat, who don't eat meat. I have this is so many different options right now: vegetarians, paleo, pescatarians, keto clients, and I'm okay with that, which is shock sometimes all my vegan friends, which isn't a lot, but they like how you could work with someone and like write the meal plan for someone with a chicken and beef, and I'm like, what's the problem with that? If people want to eat that, it's just the macronutrients, and I count the carbs, proteins, and fats, and I don't care where they came from. This is their choice. This is not my choice, and I don't want to judge them for this or something. I'm okay with that. And then I also believe that the vegan diet is actually not for everyone. I have a client in my experience who cannot feel good on the vegan diet for some reason. So, and it's not a lot of the research behind that to say I know the reason, but that's what they feel, right? And then if we not feel good, it doesn't work for us. That's for sure. But I'm really thank you for the answer on this question, because I have this problem. People, let's say, go to the doctor and they have first diabetes, and the doctor said,
Right.
you better try plant-based diet. And then they come to me as a plant-based nutritionist and they asking me for a meal plan, and they restrict themselves.
Yep.
Be like, I just need to meal plan as the vegan because I gonna lose weight and then my sugar gonna low. And I'm like, you're gonna restrict yourself. What's gonna happen after this meal plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and also it's just so popular right now. Everyone wants to be vegan because it's so cool, right? And then they start restricts themselves and then they binge eat after, which is
Yes.
crazy. And I don't like that too. So everyone out there who is listening, if you want to add more plant-based meals into your diet, or you want to go fully vegetarian or vegan or pescatarian or wherever you want to do, before you do that, make a decision to change your lifestyle and then answer a question why you do that, right? Because the reason why you do this, if you only want to lose weight and restrict yourself, this is not the good option. And then go to Celeste and she's gonna help you to answer, because that's the hard question to answer. Right?
Yes, it is. Like, okay, the first question I ask all my clients in the food program is, why do I eat the way I currently eat? And they're like, because my coach told me to, or because I want to be smaller. It's like, you don't even know why you're eating the way you're eating. This is a problem. We have to understand that choice. So no, I appreciate that. And you're right. Some people, certain diets aren't for. I interviewed a girl on my podcast, a woman on my podcast. She's a vegan doctor, and she talked about it. And I thought that it was a great episode as well. And she provided some, like, I don't tell everybody to go vegan, it's about what's going to work best for them. And I respect that you as a coach aren't saying being vegan is the only way to be successful, because that would be, that would be not right.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Yes. And then before I let you go, I have to ask one more question that I always ask in my podcast with the guests. If that's going to be your last day of your life on this earth, what you going to do?
Oh my gosh. This is an awesome question. I'm hosting an event. Like, I'm going to host an event. Hopefully, like, if everybody knew it was the last day of my life, I hope people would come,
Oh, are you going to be like a cool party before you die?
Bye, everybody, witness me die.
I like this idea. That's cool.
Yeah, I would probably want to just host an event and get everything that I have to give and give it. Like, I don't want to be like, here's this program, here's this process, here's, everything that I've got, I want to give, because that's how I want to live my life. I want to live my life and know that I contributed and I supported people. So that's what I would do. Host an event. You're all invited, stay tuned. Hopefully 90 years from now.
Hopefully it's not gonna be soon. But I like this idea. This is awesome. And then you pretty much doing this incredibly. You give to people so much. Thank you for your podcast. Thank you for all the Instagram information you post out there. And then thank you for all you do. We need more of this. Thank you for making this choice into your life to do something that no one is doing right now. You know what I mean? It's hard.
Thank
It's hard.
you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. You're such an amazing person and your soul is just so beautiful. And I have felt that this whole time. So thank you.
Thanks. She's so sweet. I'm gonna cry now.
We're both just gonna start bawling.
Okay, now before we finish this podcast, oh, I'm sorry, that was the ice in my refrigerator, by the way. It's so weird. It scares me all the time. It's making ice, automatic.
Yes.
And it is so loud.
It's okay.
Okay, so it's gonna be like a quick yes, not like a yes or no. It's just you have to choose one to going to let you know a little more. It's just a random things, which is I'm interested about. Everyone is my podcast. So choose one. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Black or purple?
Purple.
Gym or outdoor?
Gym.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Juice or smoothie?
Smoothie.
Wine or water?
Water.
Chocolate or sweet cream?
Chocolate.
Kiss or hug?
Hug.
Love or sex?
Love.
Okay, girl, that was it.
I love that. Wow, those are so intense. I was like not expecting that.
Yeah, it takes so much to your energy, right? You have to choose
Yes.
quick, and then like, oh, what they want.
I feel like I was like, I know exactly what I'd pick. And then you ask, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I also listen to myself on my podcast. I'm like, I know what I pick, but if someone is gonna ask me, I'm probably gonna stop.
I would love to know what you would pick, love or sex.
Yeah, love or sex. I would do sex with love for sure.
I didn't know we could do both.
You cannot, but I am a host. That's the
Okay,
thing.
fine. You're allowed. You get a pass.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much again, Celeste, for showing up today. I'm sure a lot of information, interesting information for all the listeners out there. And again, guys, you can go on Amazon and find the best-selling book. And the name of this book, can you say it for everyone out there?
Believe your way to badass.
Yes, you say it better than I. Awesome. So guys, I'm already waiting for mine. Go ahead and order. And then, as you know, best way to buy it is actually the printable version. And we are waiting for the next one, Celeste. So don't
Yes.
go long.
Stay tuned.
And yes, thank you. And all of the information about your coaching is going to be down below in the description of this episode, guys. So thank you so much again. Before you go, please say something to our listeners. Just wish something good. It's Easter coming. Maybe you want to say something.
Yes, absolutely. I would just say embrace every single person in your life as though they would be gone tomorrow, because they might be, you know, and it's important to say what you need to say, get the relationship healed if you need to, and embrace them, embrace everybody. You just don't know what people are going through. So that's what I'll leave you guys with.
Wow, that was so powerful, Celeste. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for that. And I maybe gonna hear you one more time. That's so many things to talk about.
I would love that.
Yeah. And bye-bye.
Bye.